debating what topic I should do, I finally decided that I would go with the one thing that I knew best, video games. So, let's start off with the most basic three consoles. Which way would you press? Enter? Alright, now I have to go back. There's some lag on this. Okay, so the three main consoles that released this generation were the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and the Nintendo Wii. So just hands up, just informal survey. Who here has used a Nintendo Wii? Okay. How many people have used a PlayStation 3? The Xbox 360? Yes. Now, how many people actually own a Wii? Surprising number. Anyway, so we'll start off with the Nintendo Wii. So the Nintendo Wii is Nintendo's smallest home console today, which measures 44 by 157 by 215.4 millimeters. The CPU is called the Broadway chip. It's been clocked at 729 megahertz, which pretty much is not that great compared to other consoles released as well. Well, the GPU is clocked at 240 megahertz. See, most people believe that if you compare, say, the Nintendo Wii and compare that to the original Xbox that was released, the Xbox is actually more powerful than the Wii, which is the last gen console. As you see, Nintendo did not really care about what kind of hardware can be stuck in this thing. Let's just throw something in and make it innovative. So it has 88 megabytes of main memory, and it's the first home console to include motion controls as a component. So, the Wii Motion Controller. The Wii Remote uses a combination of accelerometers, gyrometers, and IR detection to detect its position in 3D space. So inside the Wii Remote and inside the nunchuck, the attachment, there are use of accelerometers, which basically detect the speed of how much you're moving the remote. The gyrometers, which detect the tilt, and the IR pointer is used to pretty much detect its position, where it's pointing. So if you're playing, so in Metroid Prime 3, it's basically the main component in figuring out where you're aiming on the screen. The nunchuck attaches to the bottom of the remote. It has an analog stick, 2 buttons, and an accelerometer inside there. It's not really used for much, just used for basic motions, not the main component of the Wii Remote. And the Wii Motion Plus, which was announced last year at E3 2008, is out to the Wii Remote, improves the accuracy of the Wii Remote, which enables it to have one-to-one motion control. What this means is that every single movement that you make with the Wii Remote is detected by the console. So, who here thought that when the Wii released that you would have like instant, be able to like swing things, it would be instant reaction, it wouldn't be just pre-rendered, you wouldn't just like swing and just do some random thing on screen. Like, who thought it would be, you having sword fights and stuff like instant like that? Yeah, so y'all got scared. See, so basically Nintendo came back and said, you know what, okay, here's what we actually want to give you, and we want to make you pay another $20 for it. So basically, what it does is it gives more of an idea to the console as to where it exactly is. So now it can detect the distance it is from the console. So instead of it just being, okay, I'm moving here, but I don't know where I am, it's now I'm moving here, I know exactly how far I'm moving over. So let's move on to the next console, the Xbox 360. Measures 309 by 83 by 258 millimeters, reasonably large, much smaller than the previous Xbox, which in comparison is more like the size of the sun. Like it was just a giant brick, basically. The CPU is called the Xeon by Microsoft. It has 3 different cores which are clocked at 3.2 gigahertz. As you can see, there's a giant difference between 360 and the Wii. And the GPU contains 2 silicon dies, each are clocked at 200 megahertz and contains 512 megabytes of unified memory. Now, the unified memory is important because we're looking at the 360 and compare that to the PlayStation 3's architecture. You see, the PlayStation 3 does not have unified memory. And what this basically means is that developers aren't able to use, so let's say you have 129 megabytes, you want to split that into graphics and other calculations that you want to do. With the PS3, you have 256 megabytes for graphics and 256 megabytes for other calculations you want to do. So let's say you're like, okay, I need some more space for doing graphics while you're playing out of luck. You got to bring something up there. And see, Microsoft decided that, you know what, we're tired of Nintendo hogging the whole casual scene and having all these people play these motion control games, so let's make our own thing. So this year, June 2nd, or June 1st I should say, at E3 2009, they announced Project Attack, which has gotten a lot of media coverage. It's been demoed on Jimmy Kimmel, I believe, or Jimmy Fallon, I don't know those talk shows, like there are a bunch of random people. So basically, it's the first video game kind of controller system that doesn't actually use a controller. So what it does is basically full body motion control using a camera that's attached to the Xbox 360 system. Currently, there's a little bit of kind of uncertainty as to whether it's going to be something that's separate, you have to pay. It's rumored to be cost around $200 or something of the sort. Or it's going to be packaged in an entirely new console. We'll call that the Xbox 720 just for the camera is able to recognize different faces and bodies, and it's said to be able to discern finger movements. Like that's how, let's say, how accurate it's going to be. And it's used in conjunction with Milo, which is an artificial intelligence bot that can react to facial expressions and can carry conversations. This was demoed behind closed doors to certain members of the gaming press. So this technology is being headed by Peter Molyneux. Who here has played Fable? Fable? Here's a guy who did it. So Peter Molyneux is a guy that he loves to say, you know what, we're going to have this giant open world, you'll interact with everyone. So he promises society he'll give you the moon, basically, pretty much. So basically what he's trying to say is that I'm creating this artificial intelligence like a real human that you'll be able to talk to on screen, be able to move, like you'll be able to like throw you a pair of goggles, you can put them on like so, you know, look underwater, be moving around, make ripples on water, so, Ashley. As well, the Project Attack camera is supposed to be able to let you use your own equipment to play games. For example, the second picture, what this boy has done, he's brought his own skateboard into his living room, I don't know why. And he puts it in front of the camera and it detects, okay, you got a skateboard, so let's play some skateboarding, generic skateboarding game. So he uses his own skateboard in order to play a game. Now, I don't know why he just doesn't go outside and go to a skate park or something, but for some reason he likes air conditioning, so we'll go with that. So, and finally, last and probably least, the PlayStation 3. Now, this guy it's a monster, basically. It measures 325 by 98 by 274 millimeters. And it uses, the CPU is called the Cell. Now, back in 2006, 2005, when Sony was showing off this technology, they were like, we got the Cell. So basically, they show this thing on stage and be like, this is the future of the development, the future of computing, all that kind of stuff. Now, the only thing with this guy, I mean, it's got some good specs. I mean, it has a PPE, which is basically a main processing unit, clocks in at 3.2 gigahertz. It has 8 other cores. There are basically a whole bunch of guys around this guy that help with other calculations, which we call SPEs. You have 6 of each for the application that's being run, 1 for the operating system, and 1 is disabled to make it a little bit more secure. Now, it sounds pretty good on paper, except that when developers got this stuff and they started using it, they realized that it was really, really hard to use. As in, so let's take Devil May Cry 4. You have the 360 version, you have the PS3 version. The 360 version runs better than the PS3 version for the sole purpose of that they didn't know how to use the PS3 technology that well. The only reasonable game that has been shown to be better on the PS3 version is Call of Duty 4. And the only reason why is because Infinity Ward put their best programmers on it because no one else could figure out how to use the thing. It was just that complicated. But developers have gotten a little bit more hang of it now. And we have first-party developers like Naughty Dog and Guerrilla Games putting out some absolutely amazing graphics and gameplay. You really saw there's a lot of potential in this console. The GPU is called the RSX. It has 256 megabytes for graphics processing and 224 megabytes for main memory. As I explained before, they're separate. So you can't intertwine, you can't combine them to create, more space if you need it. And then E3 2009, Sony, about 3 years too late, brings out the iToy motion control. Now, the iToy already released about